All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's a big rift in the Flesh and Blood community, and we got to talk about it. And I don't normally do this, but this video is completely unsponsored. This is just me. This is just Josh from Hometown TCG. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hometown TCG. You guys know me. My name is Josh, and it seems like there's a big rift in the Flesh and Blood community right now. You know, people are divided. And for those that don't know, CompetEsport, a store run by George from the May the Zoo Be With You podcast, was added to the suspended stores list. Well, what this means is their gem account was canceled. They can no longer run events, and they can essentially no longer sell product. I think there's some subtle nuance there that I'm not sure of, but from all the comments I've heard is they won't be selling product anymore. And when it comes to this topic, I'm not going to get into my full thoughts on it right now because on the reaction phase on Monday, Louie and I are going to talk about it, and I will give my full thoughts. I think that's a better platform, a long-form discussion for my full thoughts on this. So make sure you're subscribed or whatever. You can follow that podcast on Monday. But for now, I really want to focus on what's next, right? There's this seismic event in our Flesh and Blood community, and I want to focus on what happens next. And the first community that comes to mind is the players, is our player community, all of us that play the game. I'm concerned because we speculate a number of players between 15,000 and 20,000. And that's, again, pure speculation. It's pure speculation based on gem data, right? And if that's the case, having people in our community saying, I'm not playing the game because of this, I'm selling my stuff because I'm done, having anyone say that over a situation is a scary situation for me. So I'm worried of what's going to happen to the player community. Down to the local level, CompetEsport players, CompetEsport was one of the first stores to carry Flesh and Blood in the United States. They have some of the best players in the country that play over there. And now that community will be fractured. You know, whether anybody stops playing the game from that community, whether one person does, two people, half the community, whatever it is, that's a fracture of our community. And when we're this small, when we're still growing, when we're really trying to expand, we can't have that. So I'm afraid for that local community. And then on a bigger scale, and maybe a United States or even a global scale, there have been people on forums, in fan page, in discords that have said, I'm done. This decision pushes me over the edge, and I don't want to be a part of this anymore, because they believed in what that store was doing or what a content creator was doing. So when we make these cuts, there is fallout from those fan bases, and as a community that's trying to grow, you just hate to see something like that. And it also puts kind of a damper on content. As far as a content creator, I have to look inward. And when I started Hometown TCG, I never thought it could be what it is right now. There's no chance, if you sat down, when I started this with John, way back when we were sitting in my basement at a table doing Kano deck techs, I never thought there was a chance that we would be the community we are right now. I'm so blown away by you guys. We're able to have these discussions. We're able to have these conversations, have these interactions with one another. And I'm so proud of that. But if one of the founding stores in the United States can be dropped, their gem ID just removed, and the largest content creator, Kitchen Table TCG, the largest content creator that built their platform solely off Flesh and Blood content, like that is how that platform started. If both of those things can be cut, removed from the content creator program, have their gem ID removed, the ability to run events is gone, without conversation, without communication, without warning, that makes me worried about making content. I had a video planned this week about a tweet I put out way earlier this week about a digital Flesh and Blood client. And I asked the community, and there was some sparked heated debate. I thought this is a fantastic thing to talk about. But I'm nervous now to put that video out, because I know it's a community level discussion. It is not Flesh and Blood's direction to want to build a digital client. And whether I'm for a digital client or against a digital client, it's fair to present both sides. And that's what you guys, the community, deserves. But I'm worried that if I present the side that doesn't align with Flesh and Blood's vision, is there going to be a repercussion? And worse than that, will there be a repercussion without communication? Getting kicked out of the content creator program or getting your gem ID removed is one thing, but having done so without communication, without notice of, hey, we disagree with this, you're taking your channel, you're taking this podcast, this take, whatever it is in a direction we don't see fit with the game, we'd like you to issue a retraction. We don't like that, we'd like you to take it in this direction. Hey, it would really help us if you could do this. Because we all love Flesh and Blood, we all love the game. We would be more than happy to have that dialogue and try to push a mission, right, that we are made known of. If this is the direction we want things to go, we are so happy to do that. But the fear that you might say something that gets you removed and could possibly destroy so much of what I've taken all this time to build and all we've built as a Hometown TCG community is not good. That's not a good feeling, and that has to be removed. If we want new stores to pick up Flesh and Blood next, right? If we want our communities to grow, if we want content creators to start covering Flesh and Blood ravenously and just be in love with the game, so much so that they freaking build shelves behind them, then we have to have open communication. And we're a small enough community. We deserve open communication as a community, from us to you, from LSS to stores, from stores to us, from us to store, and back and forth all around in a full circle. We deserve that open communication, and that has to happen next. So in my opinion, the lack of communication behind these cuts, it angers me and it makes me scared for everything we've built here at Hometown TCG and everything you guys have done for this community. I don't like that feeling. I think that is a feeling that must change next. We can't have that. The communication has to happen. We have to be on the same page. And I'm going to get into it on the reaction phase. And I think this decision needs to be rectified. There needs to be an open dialogue. We as a community are small enough to deserve to know what's going on and why this is the case. So, guys, it's a tough day. It's been kind of a tough week for Flesh and Blood content. I've never before had content that I thought maybe I shouldn't put this out because there might be a repercussion, and I've worked so hard, and I've come to just enjoy interacting with you guys so much. It's become an addiction for me. I love it. I love just every take that I get, all the comments that I get. I try to respond to every single freaking comment that I get because I just love people's enthusiasm. I love to hear their opinions and thoughts on things. It's a scary time for Flesh and Blood fans. It's a scary time for Flesh and Blood content. It's a scary time for Flesh and Blood stores. There needs to be some clarification. So, guys, we got to get this straightened out. We got to find a way to come together as a community and not separate. And we have to do it fast. We don't have the player base. We don't have the time to really fall apart on this one. So, guys, I mean, thanks for coming here. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for letting me, kind of tell you guys my thoughts. Again, I'll give you my full thoughts on the reaction phase. And again, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of you so much. You have no idea what you've done for me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I never get to say this. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and we'll see you around. Take it easy.